I'm wondering if the folks that were behind guitars are behind this.
That was my first thought. Have you looked at the specs on any of these?
You read my mind, my friend.
What are your expectations of quality?
You know, I have to say,
The internet is losing its mind over Trump guitars.
Cease and desist order to the maker of Trump guitars.
$10,000 for the most expensive one.
The limited edition 45 guitar.
Today we're diving into the world of Trump guitars. Are they real? Are they any good? And could they become valuable collectibles? Here's what we know so far. October 2024, Trump Guitars website launches, offering 3 models: the American Eagle, the Presidential Series, and the God Bless the USA. Mid-November, Gibson sends a cease and desist letter citing trademark infringement concerns. Late November, Trump Guitars adds a disclaimer saying they're not affiliated with Gibson. As of now, some models, including the autographed American Eagle priced at $11,500, are listed as sold out. I recently sat down with my buddy Matt Chalka from Eddie's Guitars, who has over 20 years of experience in the guitar world, to get his take on this situation. What's fascinating is how this blends political merchandise with the guitar world. It sparked debates about everything from manufacturing to the collectability. Whether you love it or hate it, you cannot deny that it's got people talking. So, are these guitars any good? And could they actually become valuable collectibles? Let's go ahead and find out.
Have you looked at the specs on any of these?
you read my mind, my friend. I was just scanning down, okay, plastic binding, okay, that checks out. Okay, Sapele, okay, that makes sense. And then I get to the Trump buckers.
The 45 Trump buckers.
And the MAGA benders. The
MAGA bender strings. Now, noticeably on the acoustic guitars, there's not as much branding on the components.
Right.
But they do have Magatone strings, in case you were wondering. I think those strings would be a hit if those were for sale.
Surely Trump is going to see this video, and they will probably add an accessories page to this website after seeing the video.
I really hope so. I really do hope so. Okay, secondarily, this is actually a serious question because I want to treat these as potential guitars, I guess.
Sure.
If I can say that. I would venture to guess, and you're an expert in the field, I would venture to guess that these guitars are made overseas. Given that, what are your expectations of quality? Not saying, obviously, you're going to get one, but just looking at the offerings, what's your general take of, are these going to be actual guitars that somebody's going to play?
Simply based on and again, I don't know if these are photographs. I don't know if these are digital renderings of the concept of the guitars or what. We don't know until somebody actually has one. I'm wondering if the folks that were behind Esteban Guitars are behind this.
That was my first thought.
Some of the bindings, some of the purflings, some of the inlays.
Yeah.
Again, some of the binding choices just seems familiar in ways.
It's funny because Levi and I were talking about this very thing yesterday, and I was like, this is interesting because Esteban guitars get a lot of flack. And I think for good reason. They're not the greatest instruments, and they could really actually set somebody up on the wrong path right off the bat, which sucks. But Esteban, I can't believe I'm saying this, Esteban actually plays guitar.
Sure.
Like, legitimately. I was talking to somebody at Fretboard Summit, and they're like, yeah, I ran a store in New York, and he actually came in and was like, trying out guitars, and the dude totally rips.
Yeah, I believe it.
Whereas here we just have kind of like guitar shaped objects, kind of what I'm gathering. If you want to get an autographed one, did you see the price on that?
Let me pull that one up real quick. Can you? Yes.
$11,500. It's sold. Well, the American Eagle version is sold out.
And sold out.
Bananas. And I'm without a doubt these are coming from China or Indonesia or one of the overseas guitar manufacturers. I saw some picture of him signing one. The wrap was still on the strings, how they come out of the box.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, these are definitely, produced overseas. This is something that I think is an interesting take on this, and something that I don't know if there's a lot of folks necessarily considering. And I'm curious to get your take on it because you've been in the guitar world. You've been at Eddie's for like 20 years. Is that right?
Indeed. Yes, sir.
So, and I say that just to kind of set up the fact that you've seen guitars come and go. You've seen guitars that are in the collector category, whether they be rare woods, whether they be limited runs. I mean, I know you guys are a Gibson dealer, so you've seen, countless limited runs that have an autograph and they're only making, 100 or whatever, and they command a pretty high price. I guess my question specifically to you and to get your take is, do you think these will be a viable collectible down the road? 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years.
I think it's possible for sure. And the reason I say that is, and this is more of a question to your question maybe, is this in fact a limited thing?
Yeah.
Or is this going to be continued on with other models? Are they literally getting into the guitar market? And who is they?
That's a really good question. Who is they? Like, who's legitimately behind this?
Right. Right.
Because I can't see, like, you know, old Donnie sitting at his desk being like, I wonder what orders came in.
Well, exactly. Yeah. To check the distribution list, where they're
Yeah.
going. Yeah, it's obviously on the website. It says it's a limited thing here.
Are these going to be collectible? Are we going to see these on eBay for like 20 grand? Quality and where they're made aside.
I think that the attempt of something like that will probably, exist, flipping
Yeah.
for profit type of thing in order to, I have to say, if there is a manufactured, built-in, advertised level of rarity, sometimes it's BS right off the bat.
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
thing.
for sure.
If it's marketed as a collector's item, sometimes it's not, just
Yeah.
almost based on that alone. But yeah, I mean, we'll see. What are your thoughts? I want to know your thoughts.
I've actually gone back and forth, and I think I'm firmly going to land on yes, they will be collectible. And I say that for a couple of reasons. Number one, I've never seen anything like this. I don't think quality is going to be the attraction to collectability. I mean, we're not talking about like a 58 Les Paul here. We're talking about something manufactured overseas. We don't know the quality. I suspect it's like a C minus, maybe a D, because I don't think that the impetus or the motivation behind this is to create, guitars.
Sure.
This is a real left field thing. There's there's a known affiliation with Kid Rock, which I think could be interesting if he ever plays one. I don't know if he would, but wouldn't that be something? And we know,
Sure,
and the reason I bring that up is strictly, I mean, yeah, it's kind of a funny thing, but we know that if there's an association with a guitar with somebody famous, we've seen it with Jack White and the Valco, whatever, the United States guitar.
Mm-hmm.
Those prices go up as a matter of association. So there's that. There's the potential of a Gibson lawsuit, and if Gibson wins and any of these are out in the world,
Sure.
that immediately commands.
Very good point.
That's rarity.
Very good point.
The big one, actually, that got me on the idea that these would be collectible is the fact that presidential memorabilia usually surpasses the market that it's in. I.e., like guitars. Like, if somebody's collecting presidential memorabilia, they don't have to be a guitar player to want to get this. They
Right.
would pay for it. Let me ask you this. I know the answer. Are you going to be ordering one?
I'll be honest with you. We were talking with Ed about it, and he was like, "Hey, I'll give you the store credit card if you just want to see what it's about." So I can't say we've placed our order already, but we're making our selection shortly on which one is going to be delivered to us. And let me just throw out there, because I was kind of thinking about this and chuckling to myself a little bit. Could you imagine time traveling back to 1990 and saying, boy, you're not going to believe it, in 2024, there's going to be a presidential Donald Trump guitar selling for $11,000.
Oh, God.
What would a human being think about that statement?
I mean, it is absolutely baffling.
Wait,
Yeah,
if you had to pick one for yourself, I need to know which one you'd pick.
Which one would I pick if I had to pick one for myself? Okay, so I'm going to whittle it down to the acoustics.
All right.
Oh man, I guess this really leads into me definitely not getting one, just based on the fact, and this is the zero political leanings one way or another. I don't even really want to talk about politics in this. I think it's irrelevant what we're talking about. I just wouldn't get one based on quality. I don't care about the collectability. It doesn't excite me. I think it will be collectible for what I mentioned. They just don't excite me. They don't on a number of levels. I guess if I was to get one and money was not an issue, I'd get the autographed one just on the sheer, hope and prayer that one day these are going to go for like 40, 50 grand.
That day may come sooner than we think. You never know.
I tell you what, if I had 10 grand, though, it would not be one of these guitars. You kind of backed me into a corner here. I would not be ordering one of these.
Can I throw you another curveball? And this is just, again, getting real deep into the weeds more than I should. It dawned on me, the timing with all of this, after the election and everything, there's no designation reference of 47.
My God, this was going to happen regardless.
Have these been in a warehouse somewhere for years?
This was going to happen regardless.
That's what I'm saying.
This is the Christmas cash grab. I mean, I think you are dead on.
Because I was thinking about that, and I thought, boy, with the timing, wouldn't you want to lean into "Here we come again"? Kind of thing. I'm wondering if this is something that's been on the shelf for a minute.
Dude, you've blown my mind. That didn't even register. Good call. We have really fallen into this black hole, and I cannot appreciate you enough for entertaining a trivial discussion such as this.
Of course.
Awesome.
I was really worried at first, but no, this has gone great.
This